Hello. Hello, hello. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Oh my goodness, I feel like my mic is so loud for some reason. Why is it so loud? Hey, excuse me. What was that? Excuse me. But do I sound okay? Hopefully I'm not too loud. I feel like for some reason I sound very loud right now. We hear you. You sound fine. Okay, good, 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 good. That's good. Alright, let me go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. Okay, alright. I think that's good. Yes, yes. Alright, okay. And let me post that tweet so that people know that I'm live. Alright. Okay. Okie dokie. But hello everyone. A good morning, a good day, a good afternoon, a good evening, and a good night. No matter what time it may be, I hope that you're having a wonderful, wonderful week so far. Happy Tuesday. Welcome on in. Oh my goodness. I am nervous. I don't know what I'm so nervous for. Actually, no, I wouldn't say I'm nervous. I don't know. I've been in my feels. Okay, let me post a tweet. All right. Okay. Alright, tweet has been officially posted on Twitter. Alright. Okay. But yes, as you can see from the title, I am not quite ready yet to hop straight into, our regularly scheduled program, and I think that is a-okay. I want to take today as sort of like a, like a recap day, like a last recap day on Sir Eve and VCraftEnchanted before we, wrap up the story and move on into our next stories. But hello everyone, how y'all doing today? Hi Day, welcome on in. Hello Soup, welcome on in as well. Hi Izu, I hope you enjoy your lurk. Thank you for lurking. Hello Kareem, 3200. Kareem, I don't know if you know, but there's only 24 hours in a day. So it can't be 3200 ever, at least in our universe. Hi Kareem. Hello. Hi Silva. Hi Gretchy. Oh, thank you. Can we get a shout out from Miss Gretchy, please? Hello, ma'am. Nice to see you. Hi Fish Frogs. Welcome into those watching on the YouTube side as well. Hello Wes. Hi Azumi. Welcome. Hi Mod Rocker. That is a-okay. Thank you so much for the raid. If I once again, I don't get raid messages, at least in terms of notifications on YouTube, so thank you. Yes, you guys are always welcome to raid without a raid message. That's perfectly a-okay. But hi everyone, I hope that y'all doing well. I wasn't entirely sure actually if I was ready to start streaming again today. I was contemplating, I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe I should give myself like one more day, one more day just to kind of, I guess, be in my feels. But I really wanted to stream today. I don't know, I woke up and I was like, you know what, yeah, I do want to stream and talk about it, because I feel like when it comes to emotions, right, it's good to be in your Glacia, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, ma'am. Yes, don't get lice in your eyes. Yes. Hi, Glacia. Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate that. Whenever we get a raid, I like to do a little something for the lovely raiders. And this is for you. Are you ready? This is for you, Glacia, and for the lovely members in the raid as well.
Hey Elveira and chat, just dropping by to say hi and have a great Tuesday less than 3.
Welcome to the tea shop. I hope you enjoy your stay here at our team party. Thank you so much, everybody.
Madraco94 gifted 3 months of tier 1 to Glaciate. They've gifted 180 months in the channel.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Oh my, whoa, what's happening? Whoa.
Train started.
It is my prime streak hasn't expired yet. Helveting dong su gift pound.
What the heck? Oh my goodness. Blaster, thank you so much for the resub at 14 months. I hope you enjoy your emotes as well as your sub badge. Welcome to the tea shop. I hope you enjoy your stay as a T-Bun. Thank you, Blaster. It is a pleasure to have you here. And no worries for just dropping on by. It really means a lot to me. Thank you. And thank you, Mod Rocker, for giving us sub to Glacia. Glacia, I hope you enjoy your emotes as well as your sub badge. Welcome to the tea shop. I hope you enjoy your stay as a T-Bun once again. Ma'am, thank you, Mod Rocker. And Shiny Green Dino, thank you so much for that resub at 5 months with your Prime. Thank you so much for choosing to use your Prime on me. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shiny Green Dino. And thank you to everyone. And thank you again, Glacia. I hope you had a wonderful time today during your stream. Let me see. What were you doing today? Today you were... Skibbity Toilet Hero. Do I want to ask what this is? I'm a little scared. I'm a little nervous to ask what a Skibbity Toilet Hero is. I've never heard of that before. But I do, unfortunately, know about Skibbity Toilet. But yes, please. Thank you so much for all the sub love and sub height in chat, for all those subs and gifted subs, and for the raid. And also, Kiko Hinata, thank you so much for the follow. And hello to those watching on the YouTube side as well. Hi, Hades. Hello, new and welcome on in. Good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. Welcome. It's a shooter game where you shoot toilets. Oh, okay, that sounds interesting. That is very interesting. I have to check out your VOD. I want to see what it looks like now from your POV. But yes, if you need to, head off and wind down after stream, please feel free to do so. But thank you so much for that raid again. Miriam, thank you. Let me go ahead and take out my cookies. My cookies and my tea for all the lovely people popping on in. I get water and lurk. Yes. I hope you enjoy your lurk. And I hope you have good water. I forgot to make my cup of tea. It's okay. I have my water here. Let me hydrate. I was just like... Wait a minute, I boiled some water before stream, but I forgot, yep. Both Sir Eve and Elveira have bad memory. Hi, B, welcome on in. Hello there, welcome. Yeah, you have a wonderful Tuesday, Blaster. I'll see you next time. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm zooming in. Sorry. But yeah, like I said, for those that are just coming on in, my name is Elveira. You can call me Elv or Elvie or El. I am a variety game streamer as well as a runaway princess VTuber. And today we are going to do a recap and like behind the scenes talk and my thoughts, and maybe even watch some clips, share some pictures, from our time in VCraftEnchanted. And then this will most likely, I want to say, at least for... my stream will be like the last official like VCraft focused stream, and then in the future, I'm always 100% down to talk more if people want to collab and talk about it or anything like that. But I want to spend at least one more day talking about it. And before the raid happened, actually, I was just talking about how I had been in my feels like all day yesterday because I was very, very exhausted yesterday. Especially the night before, where it was like the official ending of VCraftEnchanted. And if you guys don't know, I streamed for like 15 hours according to my timer, and I was just like, I didn't realize it had been 15 whole hours that we streamed. My goodness. So yeah, for anyone that wants to go back into the story, in case you want to like see more of Sir Eve's POV, or if you want to just go back and watch and enjoy some good times. The streams are there on the YouTube side as well as on the Twitch side, and so they're definitely there if you want to check it out. But yeah, I didn't realize it was a 15 hours long. But what happened was, if you guys don't know, on Sunday was like, I would say Saturday would count as like the finale of like the VCraftEnchanted story in terms of like conflicts that were going on, and then Sunday was more of like the epilogue / like OVA episode, where it was like the finale of the story, but it was more so slice of life edition, where the characters were wrapping up the more casual, lighthearted, and heartwarming sides in terms of like, you know, there's like the conflict that leaves you in angst and leaves you in pain, right? And then it leaves you in the feels. And then on Sunday, you know, it's like a wrap up of the epilogue, just kind of summarizing the last final bits and pieces of everyone's main stories and more. And then afterwards, after the campfire, it lasted more than I think 3 hours. And the good thing is that the server was manually set to shut down. And so there was no limit, thankfully, you know, thanks to the wonderful hosts. And so we did have a bit of a longer bonfire that happened at the very end. And then afterwards, actually, they opened up the server one more time. So there was like an official closing of the server. And then they reopened it for anyone that wanted to, you know, like wrap up or recap if their stories had gone on a little bit longer. So more like OOC, out of character time. And so yeah, we spent about, I think, like 2 hours-ish just kind of talking out of character. And, you know, if for those that were there, we were just chatting, talking about the story. You know, Zeal came in and talked about, you know, Sir Zealand, and it was really fun. It was so funny though. There were so many clips from the time after the bonfire that was just so funny, and I'll definitely show them today. Hello, Tomomasu. Welcome on in. How you doing today? Welcome. Yeah, the OC era, exactly. And we're already talking about it. Like, we haven't really set anything official yet, but there are many events and future collabs that people have been talking about in terms of for, you know, VCraftEnchanted behind the scenes, but more so just like people from VCraftEnchanted wanting to hang out together again. And so, like I said, nothing official yet, but there are many talks about wanting to, you know, do collabs and hang out together again. And so definitely not The Last of Us for those that really enjoyed, you know, the VCraftEnchanted family. Hi, Prong. I'm doing well today. How about you? I've been in my bittersweet feels. Yes. But yeah, do you have any secret collab scoops? Nothing I have to share for now, but maybe in the future, you know, If it was like something I was hosting, then I could say it, but for collabs that are not me hosting it, it's not for me to reveal. And so, yeah, you'll have to wait and see. You know, Dad Vera's favorite quote, wait and see. He loves saying wait and see. That's his all-time favorite. Yeah. But yeah, yesterday I slept in. I was very much, you know, tired because if you don't know, many of us actually were very sleep deprived. Many of us were sleep deprived, you know, because once again, you know, the way that VCraftEnchanted server worked is that it would open for 12 hours every single day. And so for the 13 days that it was open from 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, all the way until 5 a.m. Eastern, 12 a.m. Pacific, or 2 a.m. Pacific. And so, yeah, some people would stream like the full 12 hours, and then some people would stream like a little bit here and there. Some people streamed every day. Some people did not stream every day. And so, for me, you know, playing as Sir Eve did stream almost every single day except for 4 of the days. And so for Sir Eve, if you guys want Sir Eve content, like I said, I pretty much stream day 1, day 2, day 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7 I was not there, and then 8 through 13 Sir Eve is there. And so there's like a big gap. I think the main thing that I missed was the election as well as the end. And I think that's it, I want to say. I can't remember if there's anything else just because my memory is really bad. That part is very canon to me and Sir Eve. But yeah, I remember the election was a big thing that I missed. And then I also missed the Sunday, the first Sunday Korean barbecue with Church of Chat. I missed Father Freyd's assassination, you know? And then, yeah, the end where everyone went to the end. And so those are the 3 big events I want to say that Sir Eve missed out on. But I feel like it really added to the story as well in a way. for Sir Eve. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, you know, like I said, you can feel free to ask me. You can ask me anything that you want, whether it be questions about like my thoughts as Sir Eve, or if you have questions for Sir Eve, I can answer those as well. Or if you have any questions about the server, about the characters in New Witchington, please let me know. But yeah, once again, this was my very first time ever doing roleplay. And so I went into it very hesitant and very nervous, but also super excited to try something new, because I'm always down to, you know, try new things. And so I remember, I guess I'll start from like, you know, day one, or like D-Day, or how do people say it, like the day before the opening. Hi Hitachi, welcome on in. How you doing today? Welcome. Yeah, feel free to ask questions. If you guys have any questions or comments, I'm more than happy to answer it. But yeah, I remember I was invited into VCraftEnchanted, and I was so grateful for this opportunity, because once again, you know, I actually had not heard about VCraftEnchanted before. I believe there was like one VCraftEnchanted, and it was a really fun one. I went through some of the clips and I thought it was so fun, and so I was really excited to hop on in. And since this was my first time doing role play, I wasn't entirely sure what kind of character I wanted to role play. And for those that have been here, you probably heard me talk about it, but just to kind of like TLDR it, at first I was gonna go with something more aligned, I guess, with myself. I'm more, you know, I feel like I'm more closed off. I'm a bit more shy. I'm very introverted, and I also like to decorate a lot. I like to make more like slice of life type of stuff when it comes to Minecraft builds. And so I thought about it. I was like, okay, maybe I want to make an apothecary character, because I had seen some videos for the Cottage Witch mod pack, and I thought it was really cool. The things like the jars of herbs, the different types of remedies you can make. And so I was like, oh, maybe maybe I'll be a sort of character like apothecary or a doctor or something, just to help out, you know, the people that are going out to battle. Because usually in past Minecraft servers I played in, I don't really fight a lot. Like, I was a huge scaredy cat, and I'm still a big scaredy cat, but I remember when I first started playing Minecraft, I was so nervous about fighting. Like, I remember when I encountered my first zombie or my first skeleton, it scared me to bits, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to play Minecraft. It's kind of scary, you know? And I wasn't familiar with like the amount of creativity that Minecraft can bring, let alone things like redstone. You know, I'm still very much a noob when it comes to redstone builds. But yeah, I always just sort of been comfortable in like creative mode for decorating, or just like, you know, getting materials to decorate. And then it wasn't until like a prior Minecraft server that I was in where I kind of got more into like mining, more into enchanting, more into, you know, fighting mobs to decorate. And so yeah, I thought about doing like apothecary. I thought about doing like the tavern, you know, kind of like how Hasumi did for Miss Eileen's Tavern. I thought about doing a sort of like a spa, like, you know, Miss Crypta or Bluebell did for their spa. And then I just really sat down and thought about it. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I will try. Maybe I'll try something out of my comfort zone. You know, maybe I will purposely put myself into a position and / character where I want to fight more and am supposed to fight more. And hence that's where the whole idea of being like a knight came in my mind. And so came Sir Evelyn / Sir Eve. Holding the arm in that position for over 20 minutes is crazy. Skinny arms have hidden power. Is that a backhanded compliment? Are you calling my arms skinny? Excuse me. I have some muscle. I'll have you know. But hi, Captain Diggs. Welcome on in. How you doing today? Welcome. Yeah. I have some muscle. Yeah. I'll take it though. I'll take it, you know. I may not be as powerful as Boog or Granny Minterva, you know, are, but I still have a little bit of muscle, yes. yeah, I wanted to be somebody that was a bit different from how I am. Oh, thank you for the water prog. Thank you. Let me drink some water real quick. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, I wanted to put myself out there. And so that came the night known as Sir Eve. And Sir Eve, if you guys remember my first post that I did, you know, I talked about it. I was like, oh, you know, I'm Sir Evelyn, the tiny protector. As in, like, I'm tiny, you know, and I'm there to protect all creatures. And it wasn't until the very last day that you kind of guys got more of like the lore drop of Sir Evelyn in the speech at the campfire. Like, I don't know if you guys remember my speech, but essentially there was like the big reveal that Sir Eve was a self-proclaimed knight. And the reality of it is that Sir Eve was Princess Evelyn, who is a runaway princess from a neighboring kingdom. And so that was like a little tidbit that I threw in from me as Elveira, you know, being like a runaway princess. But yeah, Sir Eve really opens up at the very end of the campfire. But before that, though, Sir Eve is more of a character where, you know, they're very much like reserved. They aren't really in tune with their emotions because, once again, they have been isolated, you know, in the kingdom before they ran away. And then once they became a knight, they kind of were more wary of humans after the betrayal from humans when they were, you know, at the kingdom. And so Sir Eve kind of comes sort of a person that is just a protector of all creatures. Is this from a story you're writing? Oh, this is from VCraftEnchanted. And so if you guys weren't here for the 2 weeks, essentially VCraftEnchanted is the roleplay modern Minecraft server that I was in. And so everyone has like a story here. I'll put a picture up on screen so that you guys have like a visual for those that are coming in like, what the heck is she talking about? But look, can we talk about this art? Oh my gosh. So I didn't see this art until today. Oh my gosh. So this art, I'll talk more about it when it comes up for like Church of Chat, but this art was drawn as like a, you know, a fan art of the server characters, and this is drawn by the lovely Loop. And I'll go ahead and actually link them right now so that you guys have their Twitter. But that's me! That's me as Sir Eve in the middle next to Fairy / Father Frayed, and then we have Granny Minterva, aka Mintmai, and then we have Boog, aka Maya, and then we have Father Shu, who is Shu. Shu Yamino. Yeah, that I was just like, oh my god. That's us! That's us from VCraftEnchanted. And so I'm just kind of doing like a little TLDR, like rundown of the story for those that, you know, once again might have missed out on it, and then just go in detail about like my thoughts from the whole experience, because once again, it was my first time ever doing roleplay. And so this is, yeah, behind the scenes with roleplay Sir Eve. But this is the artist, if you guys want to check out their lovely art right there. It is amazing. Let me actually post under my tweet. Beautiful thumbnail art by Okay. There we go. Okay. Alright. Oh my gosh, I have hiccups. I drank the water too quickly. Oops. Alright. But yeah. So, oh, hi Coconut. I love it. Welcome on in. I'm glad that you love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. But yeah. I'm just kind of talking about my character. And so, yeah. Once again, Sir E was more of a character that was more closed off. Sir E was hired by Boog's parents to protect Boog, you know? And so Sir E was more of like a bodyguard character for Boog. And Sir E wasn't meant to really have like a huge role in the story, at least for my point of view. Thinking about it, I was just like, yeah, Sir E was going to be more of someone that's like behind the scenes there, you know, as like a protector of Boog. And then if something big were to happen, you know, then Sir Eve, of course, would like step up. But yeah, Sir Eve was just a character that was more comfortable with creatures. Hence why Sir Eve is able to find, or tries to find, so many creatures to adopt. And originally, the whole plan that I had, for Sir Eve was that they were going to have a animal shelter, kind of similar to what Faye, or if you guys know Hysteria, for the one that she did. And so I wanted to do that originally. And then I don't know, I kind of liked the idea of socializing more as Sir Eve than just kind of like keeping myself in my watchtower so far away from the townsfolk, because it was just so much fun. It was so much fun the very first day of the server where we were chatting and stuff. I thought I was going to be so nervous because in general I'm a really shy person, and so I'm not really one to start conversations. I'm not really one to put myself out there and just like chat and stuff. But it was so fun. It just felt so natural hopping on into the server. And if you guys are there, you heard the absolute chaos that went down. But yeah, it was just a lot of chit chat, and then I just found myself wanting to, be a bit more brave and talk more. And so I kind of not abandoned the idea of having like the animal shelter, but it was more so that the animal shelter became more of just like Sir Eve taking in animals that they adopt and protecting them in their tower, more so than like the whole idea of like potentially setting up a shelter for people to adopt their pets in. That would have been really funny though. But I'm really, really happy that Faye ended up doing that, because I was just like, oh, that's exactly what I was thinking about doing. And I loved how Faye's zoo came out. I thought it was so cute. I got to adopt a dire wolf, which I was looking for so long. I don't know how you're supposed to find them, but I'd never found one myself naturally, except for that one time where we all kind of stumbled upon the random dire wolf that was in the town after the paternity on ice test. And so yeah, I thought that was really cute. But yeah, Sir Eve kind of became more of just like, the main focus became Boog's bodyguard, but also just kind of going around and helping people whenever they need any assistance, since Sir Eve is just a knight that you would see in, for example, like a slice of life anime, just kind of roaming around town, and then if someone needs some assistance while they're off duty, they are there to help out. And so that's why Sir Eve just kind of bounced around from protecting Boog, and then once Boog became more focused on becoming stronger, wanting to help out the townsfolk as a love bug, that's when Sir Eve kind of just went more on their journey of also trying to become stronger, but with magic. Dun dun dun. Sir Eve is a human, but Sir Eve wanted to learn like a little bit of magic just to protect, since there was so much conflict popping up involving, wizards and witches. And so Sir Eve's main focus the whole time was just how to protect Boog and the townsfolk as the best way possible. But yeah, I feel like if I could do it all over again, I would still go as Sir Eve. But if there's another opportunity in the future, for like a season 3 of VCraftEnchanted, I have an idea of what kind of character that I might want to play. It's going to be quite different from Sir Eve, I would say. Definitely more of a different character that you wouldn't really expect from me, I guess. And so I'm already cooking. I'm already thinking about like what kind of character I want to be the next time that I'm invited to something roleplay, if I were to be invited again. And so yeah, I think I'm really excited. I'm really excited for maybe a potential season 3, or maybe just like a future RP character. But yeah, while we were talking during the Sunday, like out of character post-stream talk, we were talking about other RPs that we've thought about, because some people have been in like a GTA RP, which is like a Grand Theft Auto RP. Some people have been in like a crab game RP. Some people have been in like just so many different sorts of role plays. And so I was thinking about it. I think that'd be so fun. I really want to do more roleplay events. I don't know. I went from someone that was really nervous about roleplay, and now I'm like super into it. I'm like, this is so cool. And the feelings that come with it, you just become so attached to the characters. Like I was just thinking about yesterday about how attached I was to the character of you know, not just Sir Eve, but just like everyone in the town, you know. And there's like a bit of sadness, a bit of grief, a bit of bittersweet feelings that you feel when you think about it, you know, because the end of the VCraftEnchanted might just seem like the end of another Minecraft server for some people, but for me and for many others, whether you were watching the story unfold or if people were directly involved in the story, right? You just think about it. And what really hit me yesterday was the fact that, one, Sir Eve, even though it still exists in our hearts, and same with the other characters, it's not going to be there anymore. You know, like the server is officially shutting down, and the time that was spent with everyone's characters is now a memory. And it made me so emotional just thinking about it. Hi Turley, welcome on in. Time to cry. I know. Yesterday. So yesterday actually, there was like one more final opening just to kind of like do any sort of like finishing touches or any fixes that people might have done. And so I was just in the server, you know, fixing up some creeper holes that had blown up around my house. And so I was there fixing stuff, and then like I got so emotional about Pepper because, you know, like for me, I love animals, and so I do get attached to my Minecraft animals. Okay, all right. I don't know if you guys do too, but I do get attached to them. And so I was just there, you know, next to Pepper and next to Aurora, my direwolf. And Pepper was my very first mount that was given, actually, because the whole time for a good portion of the beginning of First or Eve's story is that I was trying to find a steed, you know, like a noble steed for a noble knight, you know, because every knight usually has some sort of mount or horse that they ride. And so I was trying to find one for so long. And then Doctor, aka Taiga, you know, I learned from Boog that Doctor wanted to give us a mount, each of us, you know, because prior to the gifting, Boog and Sir Eve had talked about how they want to adventure around looking for a moth to tame as a mount. And so that happened literally a few minutes after the talk with Boog and Sir Eve. And so Pepper holds a very special place in Sir Eve's heart and in my heart. And so, yeah, I just thought about it. I thought it was so sweet, you know. It was just like something so kind. Like those moths, I don't know how rare they are, but for Doctor, aka Tiger, just to give us one each, I was just like, what the heck? That's so kind. That's so nice, you know. And so, yeah, for Boog and Sir Eve, they had matching mounts, you know. They had, you know, mounts. We had Pepper and Himalayan salt, Pepper and salt, essentially matching together. But yeah, I was standing there in the server, and I was just so sad that I would never see Pepper again. So sad that I would never see Aurora, my direwolf, again. So sad just about not seeing Sir Eve's home again, you know. And then when it came to thinking about the characters, you know, I felt a grief for the bond between, you know, for example, between Boog and Sir Eve, and Sir Eve's bond with Minerva. And I was just like, dang, is this what actors feel like when they finish up like their role in a movie? Because I'm just like, oh my god, I'm feeling it. I'm just like, oh my god, how do they do this? Professionals, you know. Also, oh my gosh, Jay, thank you so much for the new membership on YouTube. I hope you enjoy being a T-Bun on the YouTube side. Thank you for that membership. Thank you so much. Welcome on in. I hope you're doing well. I'm becoming parasocial with your model. Well, what does that mean? But welcome on in. I hope you enjoy your stay here with us at our tea party. Thank you. Hi, Cian. Welcome on in. Hello, Admiral. Welcome on in to you too. Oh, Princess. Oh my goodness, Cian. Oh my. Like the Harry Potter behind the series of the actors' last scenes. Exactly, right? Like for me, I've seen behind the scenes of actors. I've seen, you know, interviews. I've heard about it, but I didn't really feel that feeling until last night, you know. Like I sat there and I was like, oh my God, the feeling that I feel, you know, from doing 13 days, which is not a short time, but not a super long time either, right? But the feeling that I felt of having to, you know, leave my role as Sir Eve, and then also the feeling of like Sir Eve saying goodbye to Minerva and saying goodbye to Boog, and then, you know, saying goodbye to so many other characters that we would never see again. It just made me so sad. It made me so sad for Sir Eve. I'm okay. I'm fine. Gwenchana. Ding, 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 ding. But yeah, it's like, I just thought about it, right? I was like, wow, I can only imagine how it is for actors that go through, you know, a whole entire session of recording and then like being in the feels, and then they have to say goodbye, you know, to this role. And I just, God, it's okay to be sad. Oh, trust me, I was sad. I let myself be in my feels all day yesterday. I was crying last night about thinking about it, you know. I was just like, oh my God. Man, this acting, man. Acting and role-playing are next level. But at the same time, you know, I'm so glad that I get to experience this level of feeling. Because once again, you know, when it comes to like outside of Sir Eve, like me as Elveira, I know I can, you know, I can always reach out, for example, to the members in VCraftEnchanted. I can hit up, you know, friends, you know, and hang out and do collabs and stuff. And that part is, it did make me sad that, you know, we wouldn't be able to hang out with friends outside of, or not outside, but hang out with friends like in VCraftEnchanted. But at the same time, you know, like I know I can always see them again and reach out and hang out again, but it's more so I was just feeling sad for the characters in the story, as if, you know, I was feeling the feelings that Sir Eve was feeling, having to say goodbye to this world. And I don't know if you saw, but I was being a little angsty, you know, emotional poster on Twitter yesterday. Let me show you what I posted. God, I was feeling it. I was just like, oh my God. I was in my feels. I was being emotional on Twitter. If you were there, you know. If you know, you know. Okay, all right. So let me show you what I posted on Twitter for those that might not know or might not follow me on Twitter, or for those that aren't on Twitter, because I know some people are on Twitter. And so for me, this is what I posted right here. You did see that? Oh God. You know, I really wanted to express how I was feeling. And so it's kind of like, I guess, like a little tidbit as to, it's a little Easter egg in a way of like, it's more so like left up for interpretation of how you want to take it for Sir Eve's story. But let me show you guys what I posted, okay? So, at the end of story, just to, I guess, like fast forward to it, Sir Eve had a conflicting feeling at the very last episode of like whether to leave Boog, you know, to go on like a journey of self-discovery, or to stay along Boog's side, you know, since Sir Eve had so many strong feelings about Boog after protecting Boog for so long and just being so proud to see how far Boog has come. And then at the end of it, you know, it was sort of wrapped up that Sir Eve is going to stay with Boog, you know, no matter what, until the end of time. You know, Sir Eve is going to protect Boog in every lifetime. And then I made this tweet last night, actually, about Sir Eve. But I guess you can take it as like if it's Sir Eve's POV or if it's not Sir Eve's POV. Once again, entirely up to interpretation. Let me take the picture away for the time being. But look, I wrote this angsty tweet, this emotional tweet. So it says, the night awakens from a long slumber. Time moves on as bittersweet memories remain in our hearts. I'll miss you, VCraftEnchanted. And yes, I did go into like a whole new world, because at this point we were not able to go into, you know, the server again. And so I went into so there's another server that I've been invited to, right? And I was about to hop on in and just, you know, play some more Minecraft, but I remember I had downloaded the server, you know, mod pack last night, and then I was about to hop on in, but something just inside my heart just wasn't ready yet to start a new story so soon. And so it kind of led to this angsty tweet right here, you know, about like the story. Because once again, I just, you know, I was ready to start Cobblemon and play in this Cobblemon server that my friends have invited me into. I wasn't ready yet. I wasn't quite ready yet to just, you know, say goodbye to Sir Eve and hop straight into a new server after VCraftEnchanted. And so I closed down that opening scene for the new server and made this tweet. And so it really summarized how I felt, you know? And so once again, it's left interpretation, but I hopped into a solo world since I was no longer able to enter into the VCraftEnchanted server because it was closed. And so I just kind of sat there, you know, and it felt so empty. And it made me think about it like, oh my gosh, you know, like this is how Sir Eve must feel after saying goodbye, you know, whether it be in the same timeline or a different timeline. But it was just such like an open field of emptiness. And it kind of felt like the beginning of VCraftEnchanted when it was so new and so fresh. Everyone had just come to what would become New Witchington. And so it felt like the, you know, the end, but also the start of a new journey. And so I really want to put how I felt into feels, into text. And that is what you see right there in the tweet. And that squirrel was a paid actor, by the way. I didn't see that squirrel until I took a screenshot, and that squirrel right there, I was like, dang, squirrel paid actor. Because it could kind of symbolize, you know, that even though the people are no longer there anymore with Sir Eve, the squirrel is still there, you know, hence why Sir Eve is the protector of creatures. And so, yeah. And then Sir Eve, as you can see, is no longer in their uniform anymore, like in their suit of armor. And so that part can also be left to interpretation as if like, oh, you know, maybe this is no longer Sir Eve. Maybe this is Sir Eve, but off duty. Or maybe this is Sir Eve in the future after, you know, waking up. Or maybe the dream was all a dream. But yeah, it was more so left as like an open-ended interpretation of the end of Sir Eve's story. And I was in my feels. But yeah, that's the tweet that I made yesterday, and I was so sad to see. Like I said, I just posted it because I was feeling emotional and I wanted to give like one final goodbye from me as Elveira to Sir Eve. And so I didn't realize that I would hit so many other people as well through my post. And so for anyone that, you know, got hit in the feels, I'm so sorry. But I just wanted to say that I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful once again that so many people came to love Sir Eve and came to experience VCraftEnchanted with me, my first ever roleplay mod pack. And I still feel very emotional about it, and I think I will for a while, but I'm just so grateful that I get to feel these feels because once again, you know, it was my first time doing this RP, and I'm so grateful for the emotions that it has evoked in me afterwards. And so that's why I give so much props to actors. I have like a newfound level of respect because I already had respect for them for what they do and their skill, but my gosh, the new respect I have for them, it comes from me and sort of like a more sense of empathy, right? Because I just, oh my god, it was absolutely heartbreaking, you know, to feel what Sir Eve must have felt and to feel the departure from Sir Eve's side and to say goodbye to characters once again in VCraftEnchanted that I would never really see again in the story sense, you know? I didn't even notice the squirrel. Yeah, this squirrel is like in the picture. I liked how it was like more subtle, but yeah, that squirrel is a paid actor. That squirrel came out of nowhere and I was like, you little gremlin. It made for such a nice picture. Yeah. Hi, Bunny Nose. Hi, Belle. Welcome on in. Hello there. But, yeah. Especially if the role lasted for such a long time, like Turley said with the Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. Exactly, right? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like the intense levels of feelings that I felt from 13 days is still long, but compared to like actors that do it for years, you know, years upon years, like for example, for the Stranger Things crew, they're just talking about the finale like this year, you know, for the final season. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can only imagine what it's like for actors to feel the depth of the feeling for so many years and then to say goodbye and to realize that it is a goodbye one last time for their character before they, you know, go into their next story. And I was just like, oh, my heart. Hi, Aldo. Welcome on in. How you doing today? Moving away from somewhere you live for a long time, different intensities or different situations, but stepping away is a feel. Exactly. And so, yeah, I was just very in my feels. I was literally like camping the VCraftEnchanted tag because I wanted to see all the clips from people, since me, as you know, as someone that was a player / character in VCraftEnchanted, I wanted to keep up with the story, but I didn't want to see too much. One, to avoid spoilers, and then two, just because I didn't have time, you know? And so with those two factors, I wasn't really able to keep up with a lot of storylines. And so a part of me really wants to go back and just watch different POVs from other storylines. Because once again, everyone was their own main character in their own story. And so I want to go back. And so I was camping the tag yesterday just because I wanted to see, I guess, like the ending to a bunch of different endings and stories. And so I was there, and then I kept seeing compilations. I would see fan art, and so it put me back in my feels the whole entire day. And it was just a very bittersweet day. A very bittersweet day for sure, for me and for many others. You know, once again, whether you were just watching our story or if you were directly in the story. Yes, the ending of the endings to the endings of the ending. Just like how when we first hopped into the server, you know, someone made a sign. Or no, someone made a waypoint. And the waypoint is literally called the beginning. Not beginning, but it's in the beginning. And I thought that was so funny. But yeah, in the beginning. Oh, man, I'm gonna miss it so much. It was so magical. I don't know if it felt the same way for everyone, but it felt so magical to me. And I fell in love with so many of the characters. And then another thing too, like outside of VCraftEnchanted, Crimson Ruse, if you know Crimson Ruse was Clifford Relexis, our mayor. And he posted a tweet that really summarized a lot of how we felt in terms of like just being in the VTuber sphere in general. And so I'll go ahead and post it right now so that you guys can hear about it. Okay? So let me bring up the tweet so you guys can hear what they said. Give me 1 second. Dun, dun, dun. But what Crimson Ruse talked about kind of touches base on the feeling of the VTuber sphere. And for those that don't know, when the VTubing really like boomed, it was amazing. It was just so, it felt so, at least according to people that were in that sphere at the time, they talked about how it was so exciting, so new. Everyone was like helping each other out. And then of course, you know, with you know, spheres, it can become toxic. And so there are many people that talk about it, like they reminisce about 2021 and 2022, or not 2021 and 2020 as like the start of the VTuber sphere, at least on the EN side, and how there was just like such a sense of like camaraderie and a sense of community. And for Crimson Ruse, they talked about how it was kind of like that sense was missing up until VCraftEnchanted. And so this is the clip right here where he talks about it, and it resonated with me. It resonated with a few others. And for me, I actually didn't come into the VTuber sphere until like 2023, I want to say. No. 2021 or 2022. I can't remember right now. But yeah, I think it was like 3-4 years ago. And so even I feel like I came in late into the sphere. But at the time, I remember when I first came into the VTuber sphere, so many VTubers were graduating already. And so yeah, I felt the change already back then. And then now in 2025, even more people are feeling it. And I feel like this year has been the year where I've seen the most amount of graduations from VTubers. And so this VCraftEnchanted server, I feel like really gave us opportunity to just bond and have that strong sense of, once again, camaraderie and community. And so this is the clip right here from Crimson Ruse, and he talks about it in a really well said way. So here's the clip from Crimson Ruse, aka Clifford Relaxes, aka our mayor from New Witchington. All right, or here, you know what? Let me hop over to the other scene since I'm probably gonna chat a lot about clips and stuff. Let me hop over to this scene over here. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Okay. So over here, here's the clip from our mayor. Let me scoot myself in the corner over here. Okay. All right. This is the clip. Let me pause the music so you guys can hear it properly. But here, I feel like this clip was a really well said way of putting how we felt in the VCraftEnchanted. All right, ready? Wait, it was kind of loud. Let me make it a little bit lower.
I really feel like there's a sense of like camaraderie and community in the VTuber sphere that was missing for a while there. I think there's a lot of fracturing and struggling from a lot of people, and it's easy to fall into the sense of tribalism, my team versus their team.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I'm learning being in the world of idols is that there is no teams. It's just people trying to do better and be better. That's a message I'm happy to stand by. And if you don't like that message, that's fine. Whatever, dude. This ain't the space for you. And that's okay. I'm sure you'll find somewhere where it's cool to have this sort of sense of like tribalism and my guy versus your guy. But nah, dude. I came into this with a lot of big talk about how I don't give a fuck about the splits between like communities and how I'll do whatever I want whenever I want. And I think a lot of people took that as an aggressive statement, like a big fuck you. You can't tell me what to do. And part of it is that because I'm a little cantankerous bitch. And it's the way I behave. It's the way I am. It's the man I am. And I'm not afraid to say that. But part of that is a message of unity. Part of that is a message of, I don't care if you like watching the JP boys, or if you like watching the girls, if you like watching Niji, if you like watching indies, if you like watching FSP. I don't give a fuck. Anybody is welcome here. At the end of the day, we're all just people who want to make content and make you guys proud. So, yeah. It is what it is. And if you don't like that and that makes you hate me, good. You're supposed to hate me. And if you don't like that because you feel like you've been spurned by one of those groups or another groups, I implore you to do what I did. Be strong and take that one on the fucking chin, dude. Keep going. Like, yeah, you're going to get burned once in a while, but it's almost never intentional. So most of the time, people just want to entertain you and just want to do better. Community really is free. Clifford was right. We're just a bunch of silly guys trying to make people happy. It's true. Silly guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Gay men, brother.
By the way, that's what we kept saying in the Church of Chat and the Church of Yuri. It was so funny. We'd just be like, gay men. You know, like amen, but gay men. I don't know where it came from, but I was like, oh my God. But yeah, that's Clifford Relaxes. That is our mayor right there. And he's just, I didn't know about Crimson Ruse actually before VCraftEnchanted, you know? And so I was so impressed by how well he was spoken, or how well spoken he was, you know? Like I have, as someone that is, how do I say this? You can see it right now. As someone that struggles putting their thoughts and feelings into words, I was so impressed by how well he was able to just speak and how well to just be able to articulate. And so Crimson Ruse's mayor was such a funny character, but also such a heartwarming character and brought a smile to our faces. And here, let me hop back over to the scene. But yeah, like so many of us actually were talking about it. We didn't know like how into RP we should be, because once again, not many of us were familiar with roleplay, or for some people it was their first time role playing like me. And so on the very first day, many of us actually were talking in the Discord, and we were very hesitant about how into roleplay we should be. And then with Clifford Relaxes, Crimson Ruse's character, he was just so into RP. Like, I don't know if you guys know, but he did not break RP, at least from what people were saying. He did not break RP at all while he was streaming the entire time. It was always Clifford Relaxes speaking, And so him being so into his RP character really made us more confident in role-playing as well. In a sense of we were no longer nervous about role-playing. Like some people were just like, yeah, what were we so nervous about? Or some people were just like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I will be in character. I will be a silly guy. Or I will be this person, you know? And so I feel like, yeah, Crimson Rouge just had such a an integral part of our roleplay and just really, really helping us open up into the idea of just being in character. And so I feel like for me too, like I was nervous about my character, but then after you know, encountering Clifford or Alexis in the first day with the slingshot, you know, and many other times after that, and just seeing that so many others also be in character, it really, really inspired me to want to be more in character. And it still does. And that's why I say, you know, I hope that there's another chance to RP in the future, because after that experience, after hearing all the different stories, after meeting all the different characters and meeting the people, you know, behind the characters, it really inspires me to want to do better in the future with a future RP. And so I'm already cooking. I already have a character in mind that I want to do for a future RP, and just, you know, kind of be like fully in RP as much as, you know, Crimson Rouge was, or as much as, you know, Calyx was as Calvin, or just so many others. I got so inspired, so inspired. Just such a creative group of people with such wonderful minds, and I loved being able to have the opportunity to be around them, to experience, you know, the story unfolding and building together, along with each person's own character development. Also, Radiate, thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. I hope you enjoy your stay here with us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, T-Rex. Welcome on in. Hello. I'm happy for you that you had the chance to even do VCraftEnchanted. Things are so different than they used to be with regards to VTuber world, and sometimes it looks lonely. 100%. Like, I don't know if I can say on the behalf of everyone, but there are many that I know in this sphere that do feel lonely, you know? Like, there are people like me that's nervous about reaching out for collabs and stuff, or just like reaching out in general. And then because so many things have happened, you know, in the VTuber sphere, it's only understandable that so many people are apprehensive. So many people are keeping them at arm's length. So many people are wary and protective and guarded. And so it's scary, and it makes it to be a lonely experience, right? And so yeah, VCraftEnchanted, that server just really felt like a place where, as Crimson Rouge said, we could just be a bunch of silly people, silly little dudes, silly little gals, you know, just hanging out in there and being in character and just really building together a story in that world. It felt so safe to be ourselves in character. And it's so fun. Like, there's so many people, you know, that have reached out to one another. Like, I've tried reaching out to people, and people have reached out to me, and I'm so excited for future collabs and future hangouts and stuff like that. I'm just like, yippee. He was hilarious. Everyone did a really impressive job. Yes. Oh my gosh. I still can't get over Maya's character Boog. Maya's character Boog was amazing. Like, I wasn't there for the whole story of, or I wasn't there the day that Boog became a love bug, you know, going from loot bug to love bug. But I remember when Boog came up to me, or came up to Sir Eve when he came back and talked about it, I thought it was amazing. Like, the idea of this loot bug that just is a little gremlin that wants to take everything, and then, you know, ends up feeling such deep feelings for other people, going from, I guess, like a selfish motif, right, of wanting to collect things for themselves, and then going to such a unselfish motif of wanting to just give back to others what they have been given to them, you know? And so I loved Boog's story. I was just like, oh, Boog, I will protect you, Sir Eve will protect you until the end of time, you know? And then went to Irva, right? Mint Mai's character. Oh my god, her story with Calvin. I wasn't really there for it. Like, I never really met Calvin. Like, Sir Eve never really met Calvin in game. And so when I was talking with Calyx, well, I wasn't really talking, but I was kind of there just hearing Calyx talk with Mitmai and our OC, it was so good. Like the story between Minerva and Calvin, and how Minerva didn't know that Calvin was working with Vitruvius II. And I was like, oh my god, it's amazing, you know? And so many others as well, you know? Like we had the story with the Goofy story, like, you know, with Mr. Breadwinner, right? Breadwinner, the whole idea of just trying to be rich and get rich through breadways, and then the final reveal of that picture where he's sitting on a pile of emerald and gold, surrounded by more emerald and gold in that one room. That was so funny. And so it's really cool. It's just really cool to see what type of different stories and what type of different characters each person decided to take on, you know? Some people, once again, were more like goofy characters. Some people had more angsty characters. Some people had more characters filled with conflict. But once again, each person had their own story, and each person was their own main character of their own story, and it was just amazing to see each story unfold. We all loved watching you have fun. Thank you, Cena. Boog. Yeah, everyone did such a booging good job. Exactly. Not. I'm gonna purposely put in good between boog and job. I know, Windows. Popping on up. Thank you, Cian. Thank you. Yeah. Like for me, I guess, you know, as Elveira, in terms of the whole experience, I do feel like, yeah, I am really happy that I pushed myself out of my comfort zone. And there are many times where you probably saw it, but there were even more times off stream where I was like by myself off stream, and I'm kind of like going back and forth trying to decide if I want to pop into a conversation, because I didn't want to intrude, you know? Like I know some people have like plot lines, and so I know that sometimes it's more heart-to-heart one-on-one talk, or they're having a moment, and so I wouldn't know if I like should have popped in or not. And so there are many times off stream where I teleport from my waypoint to the town, and then I'll be in town, and then I walk around to this area hearing people talk, and I start walking towards them, but then I walk back because I'm like, oh, no, but then I start walking back, like maybe I should say hi, and I'm like, no, you know? And so in the beginning, there are many moments like that where I just ended up not going into conversation with them, because once again, I didn't want to intrude if their characters were having a moment. And so I did that for like the first 3 days. And then after the 3 days, after I took that 4-day break, I stopped doing that. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to pop on in a Sir Eve, you know? It's just part of the story. Being spontaneous can be part of the story. A lot of it was spontaneous. I think there were very rarely any moments that were scripted. And so after the 4 days, I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to pop in as Sir Eve, and Sir Eve will, because Sir Eve is supposed to be more of a character that just kind of roams around, you know, while they're not on duty protecting Boog. And so I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll just do it. And then we'll see how it goes, you know? Improv. It felt like improv. I'm not going to lie. It felt like a huge improv class at the same time during the whole VCraftEnchanted. Because once again, it was very, very, very rarely ever scripted for a lot of situations. So it was very much improv you had to do. And for example, like I mentioned earlier, right? The whole moment of Boog going from loot bug to love bug, that was unscripted. The whole entire conversation with Boog and Frayed was talking about it yesterday on his stream, but he said he was just decorating the town. Or decorating the church. He was trying to build the church. And also prep for the KBBQ the whole time. And then Boog kind of just like popped up out of nowhere and then wanted to talk to Father Frayed. And so for Frayed, he was talking about how the whole conversation was just impromptu, but that became one of the most like integral moments for Boog's character development, and it became a big favorite of so many people's. And so yeah, it's so impressive how well people are able to come up with conversation and responses on the spot, you know? And same thing too with me. Like, I'm not that familiar with improv, but there are many moments where I had to improv, and it was fun. There was one moment where I stumbled though, because I was really tired. I felt so bad. I talked about it, but it was with Rizar on the first day that I had met him, because I think it was like towards the end of the day, and it was like at the 12-hour mark, and so I was like exhausted. I was so tired, and I was trying to come up with a word, but I couldn't think of the word that I was trying to come up with. And so it took, I felt like I took a bit too long saying something. And so I just kind of went, you know, I was just like, oh, forgive me. Sir Eve is a little tired after a long day today. But yeah, there are many things that I want to improve on the next time that I do roleplay, such as being able to improv more on the spot. Even if I'm tired, you know, I want to be able to just cook like how people cooked. Once again, inspired. If you find yourself in situations like that in RP in the future, you can always just ask in chat or some out of character channel if it's okay to hop in. So see, that's what I was unsure about either way. I wasn't sure if I could do that because, like I said, a lot of it was unscripted. And so I felt like if I had messaged them, it's going to ruin their flow, you know? And I overthink a lot. Like as Elveira, I overthink a lot. And so I think there's a lot of me to overthink, like, oh, if I send them a DM, you know, it might ruin the flow of things, you know, because then they're going to know that I'm popping in, or if they're having a moment with somebody, it's going to ruin their thought flow. And so there were so many things I just was worried about in terms of ruining other people's experiences if I were just to pop in all of a sudden. But yeah, next time I won't overthink that much. And I did do that after day 4. And so, or not day 4, day 7. And so, yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. And I wish I had more interactions with other characters. There's a limit to being considerate. I know, but I can't help it. I that's just something that's a part of me that I've always had. I overthink a lot. Hi, Sleeper. I don't know if I said hi yet to you, but hello there. Totally get that. Very considerate, but also, yes, now I know for the future. I've learned. I've grown. I've grown so much during these 13 days. But yeah. Hi, hey, welcome. But yeah, it was really fun. And like I said yesterday, there was a point where the server was opened back up just for anyone that wanted to like fix up their place or wanted to do anything last minute, you know. And so I remember I popped in and I saw Nemu, aka Darkness, and we were talking about it, how we wish we had interacted more. Like at the end of Sunday, if you guys were there for the last few minutes of the stream, so many of us were talking to each other and we're just like, oh my gosh, we never got to interact in game, you know, we never interact in the story. And so so many of us wish that we had more interactions with each other in character, you know. And so yeah, hopefully in the future we can hang out more out of character. I'm glad you think RP is fun. It's something I think helps explore the world through others' eyes. Yes, 100%, you know, because you live out life as that character. And I feel so much for the villains, like for Vox, you know, who was for Truvius II, and for Calyx, who was Calvin, and for Leo, who was L2. Like villains, oh my gosh, villains have such a deep story, and it's so hard sometimes. Like I don't know if you guys saw Vox's post about it, but it's hard sometimes to differentiate, you know, like if the way that people are feeling are feelings towards the person in the story, or if it's towards the person behind the character. And so I was just, oh my gosh, the feelings that villains must feel, you know, to go through so much hatred and have so many opinions about. And they talk about it too, you know, like outside of roleplay. When it comes to acting, you know, they talk about like if there's a character in a story that you hate, that means that the actor did a good job at portraying that villain. You know what I mean? And so it's hard because when you're playing as like a villain character, you hear all this hate from other people, of course, obviously, that see this villain being the one to bring demise or to bring pain or to bring all these negative emotions to these characters that people love. And so villains, God, the respect that I have for villains and characters that play as villains, they go through so much emotional turmoil because they're going through not only how the villain feels, but also the hatred that they're seeing for their character, who is still them in a way, right? That they're playing, because they're playing as them. And so, yeah, I was just like, oh man, I want to give a big hug to all the characters that were playing as villains in the story. I was just like, oh my god. I can only imagine how they felt. Villains are hard to play if you're a people pleaser like me. That's why communication out of character is key. Exactly, right? And so, yeah, that's why there was that whole bit throughout like the last few days. I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a lot of pigeoning happening. And I'm not entirely sure of what the phrase entitles, but I think pigeoning, from what I understood, is that there were viewers from streams that were talking in other viewers or other communities. Like they would go to other streamers and talk there and, you know, essentially give information, you know, from different streams, like pigeoning, you know, like pigeon carriers, how they go back and forth. I don't know if that's what it meant, but that's what I took from it. But yeah, they were talking about it, how some people couldn't differentiate roleplay versus the people behind the roleplay, you know? And so there were a couple of streamers that had to publicly announce on Twitter or just in general in their streams to stop pigeoning, and also to understand that there is a difference between the people in character versus the person behind the character, and that so many people don't realize that outside of character, we do talk to each other. Like there's a whole Discord where we talk to each other, make sure everything's okay. Sometimes people will check if this plotline's okay, if destroying this thing is okay or not, right? And so, yeah, some people just don't realize that people do communicate outside of character, but we're not going to say that, you know, because it's going to break the immersion while the roleplay is still happening. And so, yeah, that I did see that. I did see that was like a really big issue that popped up. Really reminded me of newcomers to D&D. The same shyness shows up with roleplay. yeah. I haven't done D&D before. I would love to try out D&D, but yeah, D&D, I feel the same sort of like apprehension just because I don't know what D&D is. But I would love to try it out, and so I really want to try out D&D this year. But hi, Himbo, welcome on in. How you doing today? It's nice to have you here with us. Welcome. Hi. My favorite thing to get people into D&D is just asking, what would you do in X situation? It'll hook them. Exactly, right? Like that was the main question that I was asking myself the entirety of the roleplay. What would Sir Eve do in this situation? Because there were many times where, once again, I think definitely because of how much of a beginner I am as a role player, there were many times where I kept putting myself into the situation as opposed to thinking of what my character would think about in that situation. And so that's why next time I have an idea of like a character that's completely different from me. And so I think it'll really help me immerse myself in the way of like, how would this character feel as opposed to how I would feel? Because I feel like Sir Eve and I are different, but very much similar as well. And so it was really hard for me to not think of what I would do in the situation. But once again, another thing that I've learned with my first experience. Hi, Lenny. Roleplay is so confusing to me. And I think that's completely valid. I feel like roleplay is very, very confusing. You know, once again, like D&D or things that like acting that people aren't familiar with. But the best way that someone put it when we first started talking about how to roleplay is they mentioned that it's good to tap into that playground mentality from when we're younger as kids. And when you're playing pretend, whether you're playing pretend house or if you're playing pretend, you know, warriors fighting each other, right? You kind of have to like bring back and tap into that innate feeling that you felt when you were younger playing pretend. Because once again, it is the sense of like pretend play, just more in a serious context where you have story and character development, you know? I thought that was really helpful, the whole tapping into the into the playground mentality. Because I did do that a lot when I was younger. I used to play house. I used to pretend I was this character, you know. I had a whole friend that thought she was Hannah Montana. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really fun to learn things like that. And that's why I mentioned that earlier too. Not just for Liddy, but for anyone else. Like if you guys have any questions or anything that you're confused about, please feel free to ask me, because I was so confused and I asked questions and learned through the experience firsthand. but for anyone that might have questions about the whole situation and experience still, I'm more than happy to answer. Once again, whether it be questions about the server, questions about VCraftEnchanted, questions about any characters, questions about Sir Eve, my experience, you are more than welcome to ask anything that you might be curious about. There's lots of different TTRPGs that aren't necessarily just D&D, and almost every campaign would be its own unique thing. And I think the GMs and DMs would give you any information you need before the campaign. Exactly, right? It depends on how the D&D session rolls out. If you end up playing D&D, I'm sure you'd love developing your character over time. It's like a little more structured than the VCraftEnchanted server, but it's certainly still open-ended. I'm excited! I'm really excited. Yeah. I want to build my own character. Help! You are Hannah Montana? Oh my gosh, Cian, I did not know until today. Well, hello there. I guess we get the best of both worlds. We get Cian and Hannah Montana. Yeah, Hannah Montana was a huge thing back in my day, you know? Same with Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Lizzie McGuire, you know? All that jazz. In what space were you role-playing? Was it in Minecraft? Yes. So for anyone that's just like coming out of context, I was role-playing in Minecraft. And so the whole premise of it is that we woke up in this world together and we're all different characters. And for some people, they thought it was just more of like a, like for example, like if you guys follow Miss Hazumi was talking about it. And if I go to her tweet, I'll pull up the picture, by the way, so people remember that we're still talking about VCraftEnchanted. But let me go to Hazumi's tweet. She did like a tweet that kind of explains what I thought was going to be the original experience at first. Okay, so... Oh, actually, no. I can't find the original tweet. But essentially what some people thought was that it was just going to be Minecraft. You know, it's going to be Minecraft and we would just kind of be doing like light RP, but still playing Minecraft. You know what I mean? So for some people, they thought it was just like, oh, we're going to like go around, do Minecraft stuff, do mining, all that jazz. And then here and there be like, oh, hello there, you know, and just talk. But no, I think not, or maybe not all of us, but I feel like maybe some of us might have anticipated like a big RP. But I myself, I can safely say that I agree that I did not think that we were going to be like that in-depth in RP, you know? I also was someone that thought it was going to be more chill, just like, oh, we're mining. Oh, like, oh my gosh, would you like to exchange my emeralds for your collective goods, you know, like your wares? More like a villager RP, like, I didn't expect it to have so much depth that we were going to do in roleplay. And so, yeah, I can understand 100% why people did not realize, you know, that I was in roleplay. That's why I made the command Evelyn and would try to pin the command whenever I could during my days that I streamed to VCraftEnchanted, because people coming into my stream, you know, for the first time that day, or people coming into VCraftEnchanted, you know, without knowing the premise of it, must have been so confused. And so I tried to pin that message when I could for VCraftEnchanted. But if you read the pin, which is still up, for Evelyn, it does explain it right here, where it says, my RP character is called Sir Evelyn, Eve, the Tiny Protector. She is a runaway princess turned into a self-proclaimed knight. I am playing in Niji Sanji's VCraftEnchanted, a modded Minecraft RP server. The mod pack being used is Cottage Witch. And I actually got that tweet from... Or not tweet. I got that message from Maya, because Maya actually made a message originally that, you know, mostly says the same thing about her character, how this is a Niji Sanji VCraftEnchanted server, you know. And so, yeah, I did see, though. I did see people popping in here and there being like, what is Elve doing? What is this goofy outfit? Why is she looking like that, you know? But I feel like when coming from an outsider perspective, it's very hard to realize that you're role playing when you just kind of pop in, you know? But yeah, I was, for the past 13 days, I've been in character for the most part. And then there were moments where I would break character to talk directly to chat. But yeah, I was role playing for the past 13 days essentially. Yep. I just thought you wanted to wear a night outfit for fun. And no. As much as, it is cool to have a night outfit. Yeah, there was a reason why it was just Minecraft over and over and over for the past 2 weeks. Like for me, I get addicted to games and I'll play them a lot. But 2 whole weeks of the same game, was specifically because of this event, this special event. Yeah. Christopher, his villager voice killed me. I don't know if you were there for it, but there was a part where Darkness in the roleplay was doing their speech at the campfire. And Darkness wasn't able to, I think their mic was broken or something. But Christopher Mark, aka, Anytime, as we found out at the very end, they started translating for Darkness, using the villager voice. And it was cracking me up. I was cracking up. I was just like, what the heck? Not the villager voice. And then the whole museum when we went to go see Lamp's gallery and he kept talking in that villager voice. Luca's so funny. Luca's so funny. But the thing is, right, for example, I talked about how there are some characters that are goofy, some characters that are more serious. With Luca was very goofy for a lot of the times I encountered him in character as Christopher Mark, But I saw, that in moments where he was also having really serious moments as well. And so I thought that was really impressive how he could have such a goofy character, that everyone came to love, but also could have so much depth as well when he wanted to have the character have depth, Because I feel like it's really hard when you're role playing to have such a complex character. Because usually when you go into character, I feel like from my POV, I saw that if you're goofy, you usually stay goofy. If you're serious, you more so stay serious. But then you have characters like Christopher Mark, where they were goofy, but then they had such a serious comment about Vitruvius, and then they had that serious talk with Vitruvius while still remaining in character as Christopher Mark. Same thing with Imp, Imp was a wonderful character that was a goofy prankster along with Christopher Mark. But, Imp, she also had so much depth and so evoked so many feelings in all of us. And we just wanted to give Imp a big hug at the end. And then you had characters like Father Shu. Father Shu was also goofy too, but had such a dark story and a character with so much depth, especially towards the end when we found out as the character that they were, using a death note. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to see the complex characters that people have, or the simple characters that people have, and each person just has such a great journey that they've been through and we're able to talk about at the campfire. The art wall! You want me to show the picture? I have the picture of the art wall. Let me pull it up here. You guys ready? You want to see it? I have some pictures actually that we can show. I guess I can start showing the pictures now. Let me hop over into this scene right here. But yeah, this picture right here, once again, was drawn by Loop, and Loop did this amazing drawing. And the drawing, the tweet, I should say, if I can find it. Let me pull it up here real quick. So the tweet that Loop did, it says, "Welcome back, welcome home." And you can see that a bunch of us have scars on us, right? From battle. And so I think it's supposed to symbolize, at the very end, after all that we've been through, we're still there together, reunited. And so you have Father Shu, you have Boog, you have Granny Minerva, you have Sir Eve, and you have Farid, aka also Father Frayed. Just all back together and crying. Praise chat, Church of Chat. I love Church of Chat so much. I did not expect to be in, the Church of Chat. Once again, Sir Eve was just supposed to be there for Boog and go there, because Boog wanted to go there. But Sir Eve ended up having such a huge attachment to the Church of Chat, which I thought was so funny, by the way. And then Frayed actually talked about it yesterday too on his stream, where originally Frayed was supposed to be a scammer. I don't know if you guys remember our first interaction with Frayed, but Frayed talked to us and was like, yeah, would you like to join the church? If you join us, all you have to do is you have to recruit 3 more people, and then you can be part of the church. And so I was just like, are you scamming me? I feel like this is a scam. And then he was like, no. And so I had like doubts about him. And then same thing too with Frayed. Frayed said that he, once again, was originally planning on scamming the entire community, just like, you know, in a more money-hungry sense, right? But then we were there to witness the first miracle with the cross, you know, being made. And then with that cross, it was just like, for me, Sir Eve became a believer in Father Frayed. And then that was the moment, I think, that Frayed talked about how he just kind of really decided to just immerse himself in the character of being Father Frayed as opposed to being a scammer, you know? And so from that moment on, that is where the Church of Chat story began, and it really came to fruition. And so I'm so glad that so many people had so much love for the Church of Chat. Praise Chat! Praise Chat! Oh, but yeah, Fray's character was amazing too. Fray's character had so much depth. People can strike that balance, really understand what the character motif is. Exactly. Hi, Pocky Man! Welcome on in. How you doing today? Hi, Heavy! Welcome into you too. Hello there. But yeah, once again, for any people here, especially in my community, I feel like not many people are familiar with roleplay. But hopefully it was like a nice way to kind of also introduce you guys to roleplay. And I hope that you guys look forward to roleplay in the future as well. Do, do, do. Okay, all right, let me see if I can find some more clips too towards the end. Let me see. But yeah, I can safely say that I am happy with the way that VCraftEnchanted came to a close. Okay, let me see. Also, today, after the chat, I think what I'm going to do is I am going to play a game. Just because I do want to, you know, play some games just to kind of chill as well afterwards. And so after the ZATSUDAN, I think I'm going to go ahead and... I'm going to go and play some Grand Bazaar, you know, in case you guys want to wind down with, like, more of Elveira. For those that have missed Elveira streaming. As opposed to Sir Eve streaming, you know? Seduce? What? Excuse me? Himbo? No. Okay. Excuse me. We just met Samir in Grand Bazaar. Although I married him in a past life in the DS version of the game, that does not mean I'm going to pine for him right away. Okay. All right. And so, we'll get to know Samir. Because once again, I need to get to know him. I don't know if he's going to be the same as the way he was back in the DS version. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll see if I decide to marry him again. I don't know. Gotta start early. Elve me. Do you like any of the characters? I like Jules as well. I had the same conflict back in the day. Like I was kind of stuck between Jules and Samir. And so back then I went with Samir just because I ended up really liking Samir's hard events. But once again, it is a remake of the older game, and so I'm not entirely sure. I did though. The thing is, I gave Jules a chance, and it just ended up being that I liked Samir's hard events more than Jules' hard events, and so yeah. I would say they blew it. You gotta remember, this was like Elveira when she was younger. You know, this is Elveira when she was like in her like. Her how would I describe it? This was small Vera when she was super romantic and was really into like the really romantic stories. And so Samir kind of gave off that romance that small Vera wanted. And so I don't know. Who knows? Maybe now that I'm older, I might have a different feeling towards the characters. So yeah, we'll give Jules and Samir both a chance again, and we'll see. We'll see if I go for either or, you know. But I also like, I really like, Leon. That's not Leon. Lloyd. I like Lloyd as well. Leon's from Rune Factory 4. I like Lloyd as well. So we'll see. We'll see if I go for Lloyd too. Right now it's a tie between Samir, Lloyd, and Jules. Those three. I will say Lloyd I do like a little bit more than Jules, but Lloyd talks a lot about marketing. And so I'm just like, it's cool that he's into his job, but at the same time, I'm like, I want romance. I want romance in the heart events. And I remember those characters kind of lost me when I was younger, when they would talk more about like their occupation as opposed to having it be like romantic. Because it's heart events, you know, like you would already get conversation about their jobs outside of the heart events. And so in the heart events, I was just like, I want the romance. I want the love, you know? I want the feels. I want them like the yearning. And so, yeah, Samir or Amir back then just ended up being the one that gave me what I wanted. And so we'll see. Yeah, they had to win my love. Yep. And we'll see. But yeah, Grand Bazaar will be after the ZATSUDAN. After the just chatting. But yeah. Let me pull up the clip. There's I take this as like the not the final clip of Sir Even Book, but there is like a ending portion. Oh my god, wait, I have to show you guys the scene right here. Never mind. Let me show you a Goofy scene. So this is a part where we're out of character and we talk about it right here. Once again, Zeal, you know, not Sir Zealand, but the person behind Sir Zealand, came back on to talk to us outside of character. And there's a there's a moment that's sick and twisted, but in the most funny way possible. Alright, so if I go here and then make myself smaller again. Alright, if I go to this port. Alright.
The church believes in that you're...
So this is the part where we're talking with everyone, including Zeal. And then we end up just kind of like start talking in character again. And then he comments about it. And you can see what he says right here, which is kind of crazy. Absolutely wild what he says. Okay, ready? So this is the clip right here.
You're the voice that the church believes in that you're speaking with right now.
Yes, the voice of chat says. The voice of chat says. Tara,
we're being in character right now. Hold on.
He's sick in the head. He's sick in the head.
You gutted, rotted man.
I have to cheer you out for that one on behalf of Lan.
I was really one of the first person.
And the reason why that scene is so sick and twisted is because Sir Zealand as a character in the server was one of the only characters that had like a bad ending, you could call it, you know, like a sad ending, because they ended up leaving New Witchington, our town, before the finale because they were not happy with the way that the way that some things came to an end and wrapped up. And so that's why Zeal, when everyone was like talking in character, he was like, oh, we're in character? Hold on a second. And he leaves because he's supposed to be gone. He's supposed to have left us. And so we're just like, oh, you're sick and twisted. Oh, you got us. But I was just like, oh, dang. He really did that. Sick and twisted. Sick and twisted. And then let me see if there's any other clips I can pull up. There's a copyright clip, but I think it's a really cute montage. And so I think I'll pull it up here. But here, this is like a TLDR for those that might not have been here. Here's a little TLDR with some copyright music that I'll have to mute on YouTube. But I think it's worth it because it's a pretty cute summary. Okay, you ready? These are two of my favorite edits that I've seen on Twitter. Okay. So here are two of my favorite edits on Twitter that people have made. Okay, so here's one that someone made of all of us. And I'm just like, oh my god, my heart. My heart. Let me back up too. I think I'm too big. Let me hold you guys instead because I need to squish y'all to get me some comfort. Okay, ready? Here's a little compilation someone did of our time in VCraftEnchanted. Not everything, but gives you a good idea of what it was like. Okay, ready? Copyright music. Commence.
I think first of all, I'd like to thank you guys, for joining, thank you very much, first of all. So yeah, welcome to VCraftEnchanted.
Let's just put them at the scene.
My heart. But yeah, this was like a very, very like short snippet. And look, this ending right here, the message. Your stories will forever live on in our hearts. I'm crying. Oh, I'm not crying. You guys are crying. Oh my god. But here, I'll just go through it quickly. So this is Spawn. This is where we like all spawned in on the first day. Okay, in character. And then going through the events, there's like other events. So this is the murder that they stumbled upon. Apparently, I forgot about it. There's a whole murder case that happened, not just for Father Frayed, but also for Imp. And so they were doing this whole like murder case, which led eventually to a trial, but not for the murder for some reason. It eventually went to a trial for, for other cases. And so here's a scene of the first barbecue. So this is the first barbecue where I wasn't here since I was away. And then that was where Father Frayed ended up, getting assassinated. And then this is the election where Mayor got assassinated, okay? And then this is when they got to the end as well, when I wasn't there. And they fought the dragon, the Ender Dragon. And then over here, this is the court case. We have the court case right here, all right, about who assassinated the mayor, right? And I was here for this. I was up in there as one of the gallery members. And then this right here was the opening of the Lion's Den, aka Miss Eileen's Tavern, aka Hazumi, out of character, right? And then we had the farmer's market. Oh my gosh, the farmer's market that Granny Minerva organized. Super cute. This was the picture by the jam wall. And then over here, this was... I don't know what this was actually. I don't think I was here for... Oh, no, I know this one. I think this is the picture where they're trying to look at who sniped the mayor, I believe. I'm not entirely sure about this one. This one is the opening of the maid cafe from all the maids. And then we have the roller coaster that Christopher Mark made. We had the circus that Imp also made, right here with the Ferris wheel. And then over here, this is the monastery where the sage will give out, their sermons. And then over here, this is like a little snippet of the art gallery that Lamp made of, moments that they remembered, such as the moment here with Calvin and Minerva. And then over here, this is actually the sand cube, the area where the final battle with Vitruvius happened. And there was like that big hole, that big crater. They actually came together at the very end where they made this, or Nabubu made like a whole floating island where it's like a new spot to kind of bring back and fill in the void that the crater had left. And so this is all of us sitting here together while Doctor gives a speech about Sir Zealand's departure. And then here's the wedding. Oh my gosh. This is one of my favorite parts, was the wedding. So if you guys weren't there on Sunday, there was also a wedding in VCraftEnchanted. And so the Church of Chat, was the venue. And so we were busy trying to make the venue, wedding appropriate. And then it was just so cute. There was like, someone officiating. There was a flower girl. There was, the two sides with the people that walked down the aisle with them. Who got married? It was in game. The character names were Rosie and John Joe. But outside of character, it was Rico and I think Gal Cheetah. And then You know what's funny though? Because it was like Yuri, right? People were like, oh, we're surprised that it's not in the House of Yuri. But at this point, you know, it was kind of like the House of Yuri and the Church of Chat just kind of settled on an agreement, you know? And so the Yuri Wendy ended up being in the Church of Chat instead. And then if you fast forward to here, this was the train ride, the final train ride that was done by Christopher Mark before he took his departure, I believe. And then this is the wall, the wall of every character that Lamp drew, you know, here. And then last but not least is the campfire. This was the campfire that Boog had organized. And it was every person in character, you know, talking about their journey in VCraftEnchanted, in New Witchington specifically. And I thought it was really... And then, you know what's so funny? Boog made a jail, made a little prison. Yeah, these are the villains of the story and that popped up. So we have Vitruvius, we have Lament, aka Lucky, aka L. We have Royale, who I did not realize went from being a hero to a villain. We also have Calvin and we have L2. And so I thought that was so funny. You can stay with us, but in prison as the villains. But yeah, that edit made my heart so full. That edit, man. And then there's another edit too. There's another edit that was done with the mayor speaking. It was like the speech that the mayor did at the very end. And so let me show you guys that one too. But these are like my top 2 favorites so far of the compilations that people have done. And there's so many of them. I wish I could get to all of them, but I'm only getting to the ones that I've seen so far. And so hopefully I can see some more when I go back into the tag. I know, right? What a fancy prison indeed. Very fancy schmancy. Curious about what happened to the House of Yuri besides hearing that they destroyed the Church of Chat. So yeah, House of Yuri became a thing on the very first day. Like we went from Church of Chat, and then the House of Yuri was brought up by Lady Nixara. And so Lady Nixara recruited a Lady Elveira. And Lady Elveira, played by Elveira, was actually more of like a evil character that wanted to do evil, but would constantly end up not doing evil because they just ended up loving the people too much, I believe is what she said. But what happened is that, yes, the Church of Chat was burned down originally by the House of Yuri when I was away. And so it was burned down. And then later on, what happened is after the burning, that kind of sparks Boog's story of how they no longer wanted to, you know, cause chaos for the sake of loot, because when the Church of Chat burned down, Boog just felt empty inside instead of feeling the joys of, you know, enjoying the riches after the burning. And then from there, Boog goes back to Church of Chat. I go back to Church of Chat as Sir Eve because Sir Eve follows Boog. And then Church of Chat ends up getting revenge, or the Church of Chat ends up getting revenge on House of Yuri by this prank where I think it was L2 put like a whole wall of ice that kind of surrounds the House of Yuri. And then at the very top, you can read on the map, it actually says Yuri. And so if you read it, it essentially says Yuri on ice. And so after that prank, nothing really happens after that between Church of Chat and House of Yuri. And so, yeah, House of Yuri still exists. Church of Chat, you know, is thriving. But I think they're more so just at there was never really a conclusion between the two. It was just like they kind of got even with each other, and then that was that. So that's pretty much it. So they're both still around, but not really at each other's throats after they both kind of did their thing to each other. Yeah. Okay, this last clip I have right here is once again from Crimson Ruse, aka Clifford Relexus, but this is the speech that Clifford Relexus gave, and then someone made a compilation of it. And we're just like, that's our mayor right there. That's our mayor. By the way, it's Crimson Ruse's birthday today. And so if you guys want to wish him happy birthday, please do so. But here, I'll play this one. This one also has copyrighted music. And so if you're watching on the YouTube side, come VOD time, you might hear this portion muted. Because once again, with copyright, I can't have that on YouTube. And so most likely it'll be muted. Okay? But yeah, we're going to go ahead and play this as well so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay? So So this is from Clifford Relaxis. Our mayor right there. That's our mayor. Hello, Cynthia. Welcome on in. We can all cry together, okay? We can cry together. Right? They all look so cute. That's like a little compilation as well from the other streamers' POVs for those that might not be familiar with some of the streamers. But please, I highly recommend checking them out, okay? They are such wonderful people that I've had the pleasure of being able to hang out with. And so I highly recommend hanging out with them if you guys want to see more of them. Okay? But all right. Let me show some final pictures and then that'll be a wrap for Sir Eve. So I did take some screenshots of some moments. There are some things that I don't want to spoil until later on, and so I probably won't show all these right here. But let me take some pictures out that I can show you guys right now. Thank you. We can all cry together. Alright, so let me pull this up. So there were some really cute pictures actually. I shared some of them. Let me see. Oh my gosh, my hiccups are back. Oh my god, I forgot to send these pictures to Maya. Okay, let me post these right here. So I didn't really take screenshots. I don't know why I didn't think about taking screenshots until like the last few days. But I do have a few screenshots I can give to y'all. Let me see. There's some pictures I took earlier on, and then there are pictures that I took last night as well. Bum, 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 bum. Otsun, lovely event. Thank you for being a part of it. Otsu VCraft. Thank you for being a wonderful member of the community as well. And thank you for enjoying VCraftEnchanted. It's thanks to wonderful members like all of you that really help us, you know, be there to remember our characters even after the event is over. So I thank you. Thank you guys for being a part of our VCraftEnchanted journeys. And I hope you guys have fun. I hope you guys have fun if you also are planning on taking part in being in VCraftEnchanted. Or not VCraftEnchanted, but like your own story if you are inspired by VCraftEnchanted. Your message was auto-modded. Uh-oh. Is there a way for my mods to approve of that message? I don't know if that was caught by accident. Happy to get to do so. Thank you. Thank you. I wish it ended in when he said, "I hate you all, goodbye." Oh my god, yes, that was so funny. I like I said, the mayor is just so funny. The way he was like, "Yeah, I hate you all, goodbye." But I get it though. They're trying to make like, you know, a sentimental video compilation, and so I get why they didn't include that part. But yeah, let me pull this up. Some last pictures. I'm just kind of copying and saving them, so... Oh my god, this is like Sir Eve, but tourist. Tourist Sir Eve. Okay, this picture's good too. I still can't believe it. I can't believe there was a zombie that ended up like spawning into the into the church. It really felt like the zombie was like, I'm here for the wedding, you know, but it was like fashionably late. They're here for the wedding, but they're late. Oh, I haven't showed the pictures yet. I'm just copying them down. I haven't showed them yet. Sorry, I was just kind of talking about things that I was remembering as I'm copying the pictures. I'm trying to like pick and choose so I don't spoil anything. Okay, copy. Paste. Okay, I think that should be it for all the pictures I want to share. Oh, no. I have one with Pepper. Pepper. Bad case of FOMO. I'm sorry. Yeah, I started yapping before I posted. You know what's funny? Sir Eve isn't really a yapper, but Elveira is a yapper. Sir Eve is one of not many words. Okay, alright, I can show the pictures now. Yeah. Hi, Ren! Welcome on in! How you doing today? Welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday so far. Oh, Wednesday. Tuesday. Can we get a shout out for Ren, please? Okay, so here's the pictures. If I can put it up. Okay. This is one of the first pictures. I know, right? It is fascinating because, yeah, I talk so much. I don't know if you can tell already from me chatting right now, but I talk a lot. And so it was kind of hard for Sir Eve to not say a lot because there's a lot I wanted to say, but I was like, no. Sir Eve does not talk a lot. And so I can't say too much. Look, right here. So this is a picture of our booth. Okay, this is me and taking a picture of Maya, aka Boog. And so this is our little stall that Lamp and I put together for the farmers market. And so yeah, it went from being like, you know, you go from Granny Mint Irva's jam shop and then you come to our booth where we sell. I decided to have us just sell like potted flowers. And so we have 5 flowers that you can buy, which are the 2 potted cats in the back and then 3 on the side as well. Oh my gosh, you guys really like that term, don't you? I say one thing and you guys remember it for the rest of time. Okay, this was the site right here. Oh, oops. I know, but it's because it was so funny that I had to point it out, okay? Okay, this is the site of the absolute destruction that had occurred after the first big explosion, or not first big explosion I say, but for their summons that Vitruvius did. And so this is the aftermath of the explosion after Vitruvius blew everything up. And then I have this picture right here, which was the final train ride. It's my POV of the final train ride before everything ended. And so you can see right there, we have, you know, Mint Irva, we have Sir Eve next to Boog, we have Nabubu. Super cute. And then I don't know, I just really like the composition of the shot. I wasn't really expecting to take a picture, but because I was using F5 for the viewpoint, it ended up looking really nice at this angle where we were turning. It just kind of like threw it there by itself. And so I decided to take a picture of it. I was like, you know what, it was pretty nice. And it ended up being like my last Otsu tweet for VCraftEnchanted. And then afterwards, Maya and I decided to take a picture at the photo op area for the wedding, you know, as Boog and Sir Eve. And so we're here taking a picture together as if, you know, we had just finished attending the wedding together. And then we also have this screen screenshot right here. This was me in my fields last night with Pepper. Pepper, once again, was my first mount, which was gifted to us by Doctor. And so I took this picture and I was in my fields because Pepper wasn't looking at me actually, but for some reason it was like Pepper was a paid actor, you know, and knew that I was taking a picture. And so Pepper, the moth in game, turned to me for the picture. And so I was just like, Pepper, don't do this to me. Pepper, no. Yeah, Pepper posed for it, man. So sad. So sad, but also so happy. And then, after that, we have a picture I took of like the watchtower. So this is Sir Eve's watchtower, right? Slash shelter. And so this is like the view of it from the front if you saw the watchtower area. You know, very simple, nothing too fancy schmancy since Sir Eve is not really one to be home that often to be able to, you know, decorate. Sir Eve lives a more simple life, even though it looks pretty fancy. But yeah, that lighting, I was just like, oh, my heart. The god rays peeking through, and then just seeing all the creatures here and there. I was just like, the babies, the animal babies, man. Oh, my mic. Oops, it almost fell down. Okay, and then if we go to the next picture, I also took a picture in front of Boog's house, you know, since right there you can see Himalayan salt, the match to Pepper. And I don't know, I loved how Maya made Boog's space. Boog's space is so cute and so wholesome. Apparently there's like this whole scene that I missed on one of the days where I was gone, where Boog actually was seen around town wheeling this sheep that Boog had found. And so you can see the sheep just like on the cart. And someone drew this really cute art of Boog carrying the sheep in a wagon. I'm just like, it's so cute, man. So wholesome. So baby. Just such a little magical area for Boog. And then I took some pictures at the church. And so you can see right here, Jajan! This is like the final result of the Church of Chat. For the wedding. And so it's like the last state that you see the church in, which, as you can see, you know, we have, you know, the candles, we have the chandelier, we have all the flowers, the villager in the side over there, since we just kind of left that villager there instead of dropping them down into the little like villager shelter. Oh my gosh, but Frey did such a good job. Frey cooked with the stained glass look to it. It's so funny though, because there is a clip of someone showing what it looks like without the shaders, and my gosh, it looks wild. Cooked, indeed, cooked. And then I also took a picture in front of Mint-Urva's house, you know, right here. I loved seeing how much Mint-Urva's house has grown, because once again, Mint-Urva's house is, you know, is underneath a tree. And I remember it was like one of the first houses that we saw, because Boog and Sir Eve did not have a house yet, but Mint-Urva was the first one to have a house out of all of us. And so it's so cute. Very fitting for Granny Mint-Urva. And then I took a picture, of course, by the train. This is the train track where we had our final goodbye with Christopher Mark, aka Anytime. And this train was so cool. I love trains, you know. I love train stations. And so the fact that we had a whole train station in VCraftEnchanted, and then we were able to ride on it, it was amazing. Oh my gosh, Luca did such an amazing job. It went all the way up to Sky Village. And then the way that it wrapped all the way around town and gave us a nice view, it was such a cool build. I'm not familiar with redstone, and I'm very much a noob when it comes to building stuff like that in Minecraft. And so whenever I stumble upon people like, you know, Luca and Frayed and Imp, you know, and Omi, who were a little newer to the build, it was just so impressive to see them build so many amazing, you know, machines. And I want to do that too. I want to learn more about Minecraft. It's so cool. It's amazing. Very, very cool. Lovely indeed. Yeah. Absolutely cooked. And then, of course, right here, I want to take a little picture in front of the booth that we had for Imp. You know, we made a little food stall. I just put the food that Imp gave me, and so we had marshmallows, candy apples, we had fries, and peanuts. And so those are the main ones that I left there after Imp gave me those snackies. And then there's another picture of me actually on the carousel. The carousel. This is so cool! This carousel here, by the way, had a song that would play over and over again whenever you go to the circus. And it became so bittersweet. I don't know why, but hearing it on the very last day and then hearing it again, I want to say last night, it put me into the feels. I felt like I was crying in the club listening to that, you know, just jamming out to the theme, but also crying in the club because, you know, it was so empty. It was so bittersweet to see the circus so empty after being filled with so much love and laughter the past few days. But that's pretty much it. I would say that is pretty much it for Sir Eve's journey. Once again, the very last screenshot that I posted of Sir Eve was this screenshot right here. And once again, it's left to interpretation how you want to take it, you know, for Sir Eve's ending. Whether it be, once again, Sir Eve being isekai'd, or Sir Eve waking up in another lifetime, or maybe Sir Eve just, you know, finishing their duties as a knight. It is completely left to you guys to interpret for yourselves what Sir Eve is doing now. But yeah, that is a wrap for Sir Eve. Thank you so much to everyone that came by for Sir Eve's story the past 13 days in VCraftEnchanted. And a huge thank you again to the wonderful hosts that made this wonderful world come to be and gave us this opportunity to build our stories and spend some wonderful time together. And now we get to keep these wonderful memories. And thank you as well to the chatters and to the viewers. You know, this wouldn't have been possible without all of you, you know, being there to witness our story and to keep us in your hearts and in your minds. But yeah, that's probably it for me for now, at least for what I have to say about VCraftEnchanted and for Sir Eve. But if there's more that pops up, I'll talk about it here and there. You know, it's not like I'm never going to talk about it ever again. It's more so that today is just like a focus, I guess you could say, on a Sir Eve. But yeah, there's more clips and stuff that I want to show, but I feel like this is a good point for me to call it, I would say, for Sir Eve's story. Real indeed. Let me see. I'll go through the clips one final time to see if there's any other clips that I want to show you guys. I mean, the Boog one. Okay, the Boog one you guys have already seen, obviously, you know. Let me check. Let me go through it real fast. Let me go into my tag. By the way, thank you for those that use my tags. The tags were super helpful going through clips and stuff because it wasn't easy to go through the VCraft tags since so many people were posting in there, which was amazing, by the way. But it was really easy to find clips for those that did use my tag. And so I really appreciate those for using my tags. Thank you. So I do have a live tag, actually, if you guys don't know, for clips and stuff. It's #ElvLive. So if you guys have any clips that you find and stumble upon for, you know, my streams in general or from VCraftEnchanted, please make sure to hashtag with #Elv, ELV, live, so that I can find it a little bit easier. Oh, let me see. What is another scene? No, I see the clip of Pepper getting shot down by Vitruvius. Ooh. Oh, one of my favorite moments was this moment, which was this was the first encounter with with Sir Ryan, aka Rizar. Let me show you here. It was the whole talk, because if you guys don't know, Rizar actually came into VCraftEnchanted a little bit later than a few of us, or a majority of us, I should say. And so for the few people that came in a bit later, I didn't want them to feel left out, and so I wanted to make sure to try to talk to them or try to include them whenever I saw them in conversation. And so this is one of my favorite moments because it's just, the conversation was so funny. I did not expect it to kind of play out the way that it played out. But here's a clip with Rizar's perspective. Rizar is so funny. Oh my gosh, there's a whole clip too where we're like out of character and Rizar is spraying their face with their face mist. And we can hear it and Maya calls him out. Maya's like, why are you spraying? And we're just like, dang, you must have some really nice dewy skin. Because I've actually considered investing into the face mist, but I don't know which ones to invest into. But it's really nice for keeping your face moisturized. If you guys want to, you know, moisturize your face throughout the day when it gets super dry. And I was like, dang, Rizar must have some really nice skin. But here, this is one of this was like, I think my first encounter with Rizar in the game as Sir Ryan and Sir Eve. So goofy.
That I have come at a rather interesting time amidst conflict in this village, so...
Oh yes, there are battles being talked about. There has been a paternity test for a penguin.
A penguin? I see.
Yes. I don't know if you have heard news of the Church of Chat, but there has been a supposedly love triangle between a golem and Father Shu and Father Frey that has passed. His face! So we were trying to figure out who the love child Frey Jr. belongs to.
I see.
Yes, and Father Shu is the father. Yes.
I have much to learn about reproduction in this world.
Yes,
it's quite vexing.
Yes, I'm not familiar with it either, but maybe we can talk to the father about it when father's at the church.
Indeed. I must question him soon. It is, I feel like it is a biology that I have never yet encountered, but I am much both eager and horrified to learn more.
Eager? You're eager to learn about this?
It's rather fascinating, I must say, to have produced a penguin.
Oh, would you like to produce a penguin of your
own? Well, as they say, never say never.
Okay, yes.
Yes, you'll never know that one day I might wake up in the morning, enjoy my morning coffee, eat a lovely waffle, and say, I want to have penguin triplets.
Well, if that day does come, do let me know and I will be the first to congratulate you.
Of course. Thank you. I appreciate your support.
Yes, very open-minded. That was so funny because we had just done the whole like paternity test, you know? And so it was so funny being able to talk about it and explain it to someone that is just not up to date with the lore. I'm just like, yeah. Lore drop. Oh my gosh. And then I don't know why, but someone made this like goofy edit right here. There's like a goofy edit that was done of Shu getting hurt, and I don't know why my brain, the brain goofiness took over. The memes took over right here. Fun timing, I know, right? I think that's why it's so nice. Like, you know, with that server, it is intimidating, of course, to hop in midway when people are already fleshing out their stories. But I think that was so wonderful that VCraftEnchanted was a server where you could just pop in, even if you weren't able to pop in from the beginning, and just be able to settle into the town. That's how nice everyone was. It was just, people were included so quickly, and it was great. But yeah, I part of me, once again, still wishes that I had interacted and had been able to, you know, have the opportunity to talk with more of the characters. All right, so this is the one with Shu. It's such a short little edit, but it made me laugh.
Oh.
Are you okay?
Father Shu!
Oh, hold on.
Father Shu! Are you okay?
Ooga booga.
Ooh-ee-ah.
Dispel.
Why did I do that? I don't know. My brain was just like, ooh-ee-ah. Oh God, Sir Eve is a little silly, it seems, you know, a little goofy, just a little bit. But yeah, whoever made that edit, you know, I was just like, it's so funny. It's so funny because it's so out of character for Sir Eve, but I thought it was funny. But yeah, Star Clips made that, so thank you, Star Clips, for making that edit. Cringe. Sir Eve may be cringe, but at least Sir Eve is free, you know, as they say. And then, oh my god, there's that clip too where we were haunted by this like unknown voice. I'm not gonna show it, but to this day, I don't know who that was. I don't know who that was that talked to us in that voice. I was just like, what the heck? And there's some other stuff that I talked about too. Like we tried out, Christopher Mark's invention with the Zoom. We also had many moments, where we were trying to fend off the voices of the demons. And we kept memeing the song Animals from Maroon 5. Praying on you tonight. And then so much more. But yeah, I think I'm good though on not showing those because I've talked about it before. And today's more of like the recap session of Sir Eve. But yeah, I think with that though, I would say that is a wrap on Sir Eve's story. And I feel like that picture, the one that was drawn right here once again by Loop, is just such a wonderful summary of how it ended for us as the Church of Chat. There's a picture actually of the Church of Chat. Oh my gosh, I forgot to show that one real quick. Did I show that? The picture of all of us together? One last time. Let me see if I can find that. Where is it? It should be right here. Do do do. Bum, bum, bum. My heart, I know. Oh, here. So there's a picture that Maya took actually, right here. Or no, I think it was. Where was it? I was gonna retweet it. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Go for it. Thank you. Alright, okay. I think it's this picture right here, I want to say. But yeah, there were so many clips that I've missed out on. And so if you guys see me spamming it in the on Twitter, please don't mind my spam. I'm just going through my feels, okay, with all the clips. Oh, here it is. Here's the picture. I found it. All right. Let me save. And retweet as well. I forgot to retweet and like this one. But look, this was like, so that picture, I think, is similar to the screenshot that was taken. Look, it's us, the Church of Chat. So this is how it was, in the beginning. It was Father Shu, Father Frayed, it was Boog, Sir Eve, L2, and Granny Minerva. And I think the ones that stayed the whole time in the Church of Chat was Father Shu, Father Frayed, and then Farid, and then L2, and then Granny Minerva. They had stayed the whole time. And then for Boog and Sir Eve, they had left temporarily for the House of Yuri, but then made their way back to, the Church of Chat. And so that's why I feel like, with the other image, right? With this image right here, I just, the emotions that it brings. Because once again, it says, welcome back, welcome home. For me, I also interpret it as in like, it's like Sir Eve and Boog were able to find their way back to the Church of Chat, where beginnings had, where their beginnings were rooted in. So lovely. Thank you, Cynthia. But please go check out the artist once again if you guys have not already. I'll post the artist one more time. But this artist, the art they drew every single time that I saw their art, oh my. You want to see the first one that I saw from them? It tugged at the heartstrings. They just do such a great job at like capturing the emotions, I feel like. Let me see. Let me go ahead and post them in Twitter. Hi, Derpy! Welcome in! How you doing today? What's poppin'? Can we get a shout out for Derpy, please? Derpy's the one that made the new Cobblemon server that I'll be playing on eventually. So you guys will see me in Minecraft again soon, TM. I don't know if you were here, Derpy. I talked about it. I was actually about to hop on last night for the first time. But then I just kind of sat there in my feels. I was just like... my heart. My heart, my soul. And then I couldn't do it. I couldn't start the new adventure just yet. Okay. Alright, let me go here. So for Loop did this art, I think when they first rebuilt the church, and oh my gosh, my heart. Here, let me see. Okay, so this was one of the first ones that they drew for the rebuild of the Church of Chat right here. I can pull it up. Where is it? Jajan! Look! Day 6, new church! And so as you can see in this picture, we have Father Shu, Father Freyed, Boog, Minerva, and L2. And I loved it. I loved little hammers in their hands for, once again, the rebuilding of the church after it had been burned down by the House of Yuri. And so pictures like these that Loop drew, just, oh my, every time. It would tug at the heartstrings. And then there was another drawing that they drew with Father Shu along with Farad and Father Freyed. This one I thought was so cute. So cute. Right here. Hi, Woppo! Me saying you'll be doing decorating for 8 hours wasn't a lie. I didn't decorate for that long. I decorated, but not for the entirety of it. I was just in my feels, okay? Alright. But look, right here. This one was drawn of, once again, the interaction with Father Shu and Father Freyed and Farad. I thought it was so cute. The juxtaposition of, or not juxtaposition, but like the parallels between the two. You can see how Father Freyed and Farad are similar, but different. I thought that was such a cool character, such a complex character that was just amazingly done by, very well done by Freyed, the streamer. They drew so much art actually of Freyed. I love it. But yeah, such cute paintings, not paintings, drawings that they do. And then, you know, other art too. Like, I just thought it was so cool seeing all the fan art that people made. Including Lamp, right? Lamp in the server directly did such amazing art too. Oh my gosh, I think Maya has a picture of that right there. Oh, and then there's one more picture I want to show you guys. So another artwork that was done that I saw yesterday was actually done by... I can pull it up. I have 2 more pictures. So there was this picture drawn by Alex C. Ken. And they drew the new Witchington Farmers Market. Oh my gosh. I was just like, ain't no way. It's us. So this one right here is so cute. You can see the drawing of all the booths. And then you have Vitruvius and Calvin in the back. And you have Granny Minerva at her jam stall. You have me and Boog, or Sir Even Boog at the flowers stall. Lady Elveira in front of the bakery stall. The apple crates in the front. There's Christopher Mark. There's Father Shu taking pictures. Now Boo Boo looking at Apple, and then Father Freyed. So cute, right? So cute. Once again, this was drawn by Alex Chan on Twitter. So I'll link them in case you guys want to see them right here too. Okay. Hello, Honey Dewey. I discovered you because of VCraftEnchanted and your voice is so lovely. Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. I hope you enjoy your stay here with us. Thank you so much for being so sweet. I have been so honored and so grateful to have met so many of y'all thanks to VCraftEnchanted. Thank you. I'm just going through some pictures right now that people drew. Oh, this one drawn by Boys Main 1 made me so sad but so happy. This one is this picture is the picture that made me feel like, wow, it's really ended. So right here, there's this final drawing drawn here that I saw, and it says VCraftEnchanted, thank you. And this one once again was drawn by Boys Main 1. And in this one, as you can see, it's like a bunch of the characters together, and we're all leaving and saying goodbye. And then that little picture in the front with Nabubu and Vitruvius II, you know, reaching out for a hug. I was just like, oh, the father-daughter duo. Ooh, my heart. It's just so cute. The memories, man. But yeah, that picture was the one that was, I would say, the nail in the coffin for me in terms of making me realize that it is ended. It is done, you know. Oh, and then someone drew this picture as well right here. Someone drew this one right here of the Church of Chat once again. Another picture that I hold near and dear to my heart. Because once again, you know, with the Church of Chat, I just kind of thought it was going to be a scam, and it ended up not being a scam, and ended up being such a wholesome family. Despite, you know, all of us taking turns to kill Farid, you know, due to the death note in game with Father Shu. But yeah, this one was drawn by Cam. It's Miko, I think is how you pronounce it. Hi Marissa, welcome on in. How you doing today? Nice to see you. Yeah, it's another one drawn of the Church of Chat. They did draw my helmet. Yeah, they drew the helmet that Maya gave me to put on my model. The one that she was using for her Souls gameplay. Oh, and here's one more. Here's one more that I saw from the Church of Chat too. Okay, this one right here. This one actually has like the screenshot of the church in the background right here. So cute. Oh, look how small Boog is. Oh my gosh. This one was drawn by Rio Leo. Yeah, but yeah, I'm posting them in the chat in case you guys want to go check it out yourselves. Another adorable picture. And then there was another one too, done not for the Church of Chat, but this one was actually drawn for like the roller coaster ride. It was like a finale roller coaster picture, I guess you could call it. This one was drawn by, if we can pull it up here real quick. And this one, as you can see, they did watermark it, so you can go to that username. But if you want the link, I'll post it here on Twitch again. Chi Wong, thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. Thank you. This was drawn by Enya right here. Look, you can see it. It's me. I'm in the second cart next to Christopher Mark, and I believe that's Faye. And we also have John Joe and Darkness, as well as Sage. Violet the Sage in the second cart with us. I know, this one's so cute. I love it. The roller coaster ride was so wholesome, and so I'm so glad to see that people drew art with the roller coaster ride as well. So precious. Oh, and then someone made like a picture compilation of all like the big moments. But yeah, that is pretty much what I saw in terms of the art so far for like the last day. But if there's more, I'll definitely check it out on Twitter, and I'll definitely repost it. But yeah, I would say that is pretty much it for me on my thoughts once again for Sir Eve and the finale of Sir Eve. And so I think that is where I'll call it, at least for today's portion, in terms of the ZATSUDAN, the just chatting portion for VCraftEnchanted. But yeah, in case you guys are coming in a little bit later, or if you guys ended up missing the VOD or the stream, the VOD will be there both on YouTube and on Twitch if you want to hear my thoughts again. But yeah, I'll call it here for the chat about VCraftEnchanted. But there are so many other streamers as well that are still talking about VCraftEnchanted, and so I believe Maya is live right now if you want to see her talk about it. And then I believe tomorrow, Mint is going to talk about it for her POV. And then Father Frayed, aka Farid, aka Frayed, the streamer, he talked about it too yesterday. So please go check them all out if you guys have not already. Here, I'll shout them out right now. This is one of the most entertaining collabs ever. Thank you, Marissa. I'm glad. I'm really glad that you guys had fun. At the end of the day, you know, if you guys are having fun, I'm having fun. And so it's really nice to do these wonderful opportunities together. Here, let me shout them out. We have Maya. We have Mitmai. And we have Frayed. These are the few people that I know so far that have talked about the characters OOC on Twitch. But if there's more, I'm sure you guys can check it out in the VCraftEnchanted tag. Yeah. But okay. Let me go ahead and set up the waiting room. Like I said, I'm going to play a little bit of a game just so we can chill after our chit chat. So we can have some comfort along with being in the feels. And the first comfort game that I can think about that I've been playing recently is Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. And so if you want to see, you know, Farmer Elveira again, we're going to do that here. So let me go ahead and make that waiting room real quick so we can raid into it. Give me 1 second as I set that up. Oops, wrong one. But yeah, just once again, a huge thank you to everyone that spent these 13 days together with me and watching our story unfold. Not just for Sir Eve, but for everyone. And a huge thank you as well, once again, to the host. A huge thank you to Luca. You know, a huge thank you to Shu. Huge thank you to Uki and everyone from Niji that hosted the event and made this event come to be. But I believe Luca was the one that, I believe from what I heard from Elveira, Luca was the one that I guess you could say came up with this entire idea, and I love it. I love how it was such a safe, fun space to be in. Yeah. There's gonna be 2 VODs. It's gonna be a VOD separate because I want this VOD to be specifically just for the ZATSUDAN, and then there's going to be the one specifically for Story of Seasons for those I just want to see Story of Seasons. So yes, I am keeping them separated. Yes. All right. Let me go ahead and make that real quick, and then I will close out VCraftEnchanted. Okay. All right. I think the waiting room is good and up. All right. Did they reach out to you, or is there a post of the recruitment? So for this one, once again, it was mainly hosted by Nijisanji En. And then with Nijisanji En, they had invited a combination of other people from corporate as well as indie. And so it was a mix of corporate and indie VTubers. And there was no recruitment post. It was more so just like an invite-based server. And so, yeah, I was invited. I was invited by a lovely friend. I don't know if they want to be publicly mentioned that they were the one to be invited. I think she talked about it though. But yeah, the person that recruited me was actually Maya. So I am forever grateful to Maya for, you know, inviting me to be a part of this wonderful event. And so yeah, Maya was the one that invited me to be part of VCraftEnchanted. So thank you. A huge thank you to Maya as well. I love her so much. So please go give her all the love and support. Yeah, she was great. She was so sweet to invite me to this event. I'm indie. I'm completely indie. I've never been with a company. I've always been independent. And so if you ever saw me be part of a company, I would mention it way before I'm part of a company. But yeah, I am independent. I am an indie VTuber. That is correct. Do you think someone will edit a recap video? Maybe. I would be surprised if someone did that, where they made like a whole edit of it. Okay, let me go here. Let me make sure it reads into it. Oh, that's fine, Mod Rocker. No worries. That is A-okay. Okay. Raid into waiting room here. All right. Okie dokie. All right, everyone. Let me head back on over here. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the recap today for VCraftEnchanted and for Sir Eve's story. So once again, thank you so much to everyone that came by to witness Sir Eve's journey, and those that, you know, hosted, and for those that made clips, for those that made art. It's just everyone came together, and it was so nice just to see, you know, not just the community within the server, but just the community as a whole, from so many streamers, from so many companies, from so many indies. It just really felt like one big community all together. But thank you so much. Thank you once again from me as Sir Eve, and thank you from me as Elveira. All right, I'll call it here for VCraftEnchanted ZATSUDAN. And one last time, Otsu! VCraftEnchanted! Yippee! Thank you, VCraftEnchanted. All right, I'll go ahead and end the VOD for now, for those that are watching the VOD later. And I will hop into our next segment of the day. So if you want to stick around for some comfy farming, we're going to be playing some Grand Bazaar after this. So feel free to stick around for some Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. You can think of it as if Sir Eve, you know, this is like Sir Eve's isekai into farming life. But not in roleplay. It'll be me as Elveira playing, okay? But alright. Let me go ahead and hop on over. But bye-bye! For those watching the VOD, or for those watching the stream, specifically for VCraftEnchanted, I hope you enjoyed our journey. And once again, as I mentioned, you know, for the memories, when it comes to the story, right? Even though time moves on, our bittersweet memories remain in our hearts. And our stories, you know, are alive. And our characters are alive thanks to your memories. So thank you. Otsu! Otsu again. Otsu VCraftEnchanted. But yes, I'll be ending the VOD here. If you want to comment down below, please feel free to comment if you're watching on the YouTube side. Any thoughts that you might have had or have during the VOD, if you're watching the VOD version. I would love to read your comments about VCraftEnchanted. Not even just for Sir Eve, but if you have comments for Sir Eve, that's perfectly fine too. But yeah, thank you for joining my POV of VCraftEnchanted. Alright, I will see you guys in the next one. Whether it be in the next stream or in the next segment for today. But yes, I'll hop into I'll hop into Grand Bazaar. Alright. Bye YouTube! Come get some goodbyes in chat, please, for those watching on the Twitch side. But yeah, for those watching on the YouTube side, thank you so much if you were stopping in for today's VCraft behind the scenes of Sir Eve's POV. Bye YouTube! Bye bye! I'll see you here in a second. Like I said, if you're gonna stick around for some VCraftEnchanted. I keep saying VCraftEnchanted for some Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. Let me put you guys down. You guys are no longer being held hostage by me. Bye! Bye! I'll see you here in a bit, okay? But bye-bye for those that are joining in once again for VCraftEnchanted. Bye, YouTube! Bye-bye! YouTube stream ending.